These are my rarest games. I think. I might have something rarer, but these are the rarest. First off, number 3. It's not super valuable, but it's super rare. Konami GB Collection Volume 1. It's a Game Boy Color game that was only released in Europe. It has a colorized version of the Castlevania Adventure. And not only is it colorized, but it's sped to normal speed. It doesn't move in slow motion. So it changes the whole game and makes it actually playable instead of like a sufferfest. It's still not the greatest game because it's built around pits, bad jumping mechanics, but it plays in normal speed. So this is like a must for collectors. I bought it years ago, and I don't know if people have caught on about how rare and worth it is because of what it is. I keep it in a case. This is probably the rarest game of all. If you YouTube search Minuet Tetris, this guy did a video on it. He's like a Game Boy nut. It's called Minuet Tetris because it's like the very first issue of Tetris. It's the Japanese one, and there was like only like a limited amount because it features a different song as Type A music. And then they got the rights to use the Tchaikovsky music. I think it's Tchaikovsky, whatever it is. So this is super rare because it has a different song in it. It's hard to acquire because the only way to know if it's the Minuet version is because like some of the text on here, right here, is different. Like it's slightly different. It's spaced a little differently. So the only way to find it is to look for Japanese copies of Tetris and be able to zoom in on your screen enough to identify the slight difference in what the text looks like. It's crazy, and it was super fun looking for this. It was like an eBay scavenger hunt. And when I found it and I like popped it in and it played the different music, it was so exciting. It was a super fun thing to acquire. And again, it's not necessarily valuable, but it's so rare and it's so obscure that like it's not even sought after. And this right here, this is the rarest thing I own. It's so, I don't even know how much money it's worth. I've almost sold it a few times. It's a beta. I keep it in a Nintendo case, but it's a Sega Genesis beta cartridge for the game MUSHA. Are you familiar with that shooter, MUSHA? I keep it all wrapped up. It's making me excited. I haven't opened this for years, but check this shit out. This is a legit beta game. This is the real deal. This was like sent off to magazines, pre-release, for review. It's heavier than a Sega Genesis game because it has like fucking whatever, heavy-ass microchips in it. Like, it's not a retail game. It's, and not only that, but sometimes beta games don't have differences. This actually does. I played through the first level. I'm not very good at MUSHA. I'm not even a huge fan of it. But someone on a forum was once selling it, and it seemed cool. And I played through the first level and compared it, and it has different, text. When the people are talking, the text is slightly different. So this is super rare, and the game MUSHA is already super expensive and rare. So I think that this beta is pretty cool, and probably pretty valuable. I love it though, and it's crazy because it's heavy. Because it's like, it's a developer game, you know? Like, it doesn't have retail chips in it. I don't know how that works, but it's heavier than a Genesis game, a standard Genesis game. So cool. Thanks, Rose. This thing gives me goosebumps. I almost sold it a couple times, but I just like owning it. And I feel like I paid a good price for it. It was some collector that was just years ago. I think it was on the Sega-16 forums. I don't even know if they're still around. But some beta collector was just selling his betas that he didn't want, and it was like $50. I think I gave him $50 for it.